folks, it's Big Boy with Joe Valdez, Brad Taylor, and Dave Mundel. This is Real Talk. All right, folks, it's Big Boy with Joe Valdez. We're here with another episode of Real Talk. We're talking about RFC 33 Proving Ground. It's going to be in February here in Tampa at the DoubleTree. Joe, you've done it again. You've made an amazing fight. You've brought one of the best main events that I've ever seen myself. Brad Taylor, the Axman, versus Tampa local Dave Mundel. This is going to be a great fight, Joe. I'm excited about it. It's Proving Ground. Why did you do it?
Well, they're two of the best 170-pounders, I believe, in the state of Florida. They're solid. They're my type of fighter. They're both coming off of good performances. We've seen these guys come up. They're getting better every fight. So, proven grounds. Let's see who's the best 170-pounder in Central Florida.
Definitely agree with you as far as the contendership with the 170ers. These guys are amazing. Dave had a great amateur career. I watched a few of your fights. You had some big names. You fought some big promotions. Brad, same as you, lots of experience in the amateur fights. Man, you guys were in there. You were working it. A lot of the pro fighters that were back in the day, they didn't have that chance to go in the amateur. And I'll ask you first, Brad, did it help you more to have all those amateur fights and then come pro and have less stress the night of the fight?
Yeah, definitely. I have a lot of friends that turned pro too early, and I was able to experience at least 30 amateur fights, and believe it or not, I kind of wish I had some more. I kind of wish that I would have stayed in pro a little longer sometimes. There's that real bad nervous stop, but I couldn't imagine only getting like 3 amateur fights and then turning pro. That'd be, I'd definitely be nervous. So I'm glad I got to stay amateur and have 30 fights and do the way I've come up.
Absolutely. And Dave, I was personally at a couple of your amateur fights, the Tony Murphy fight. You're an explosive fighter. You always surprise me. I was even with you in your pro fight in Alabama. I even fought in the card, and man, you are not nervous in that locker room. It's like second nature to you. Did the amateurs prepare you for that, or is that just something that Dave Mundel wakes up and not be nervous?
It's just waking up and not nervous. It's just something I love to do. I wrestled back in high school, which helped out a lot. Just preparing for that level of intensity and just carried over, and I just know what I got to do.
Nice. These guys have got a lot of fights behind them amateur. They're coming in here and doing big things in the pro. Brad was always known as an amateur, as kind of not a backyard fighter, but never really was trained camp. And now this last win that you had against Cesar Rizzo, big fight. Brad, you impressed me. You impressed Joe. You impressed us all. You had a real camp. You went out to Phoenix, Arizona, trained with some big names. It was good for you, and you looked tough. Are you going to change something now? Is something going to change? And are you going to be in the same camp and train the same, and be preparing for these fights the same way?
It's a lot different now. Before I worked, I had a family, so it was a full-time job. So I couldn't just do fighting full-time. Now that I'm able to do fighting full-time, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the gym. Before it was like, hey man, I'm working all the time. I don't want to go to the gym. Now this is a career for me. So now it's be in the gym. You got your time, go in the gym. So I take it a lot more serious now, and going to my first training camp, my last fight was just amazing. I've never been around something like that before, that mentality, and that many people that love doing what we do, So, this fight here, I'm going to come into it. I'm trying to work on a 2 or 3 week training camp, same place. I'm hitting it really hard.
Where's that at, the lab?
That's at the lab up in Phoenix, Arizona area up there, and over at the Powerhouse. I went to both of them, man, and Arizona up there at the lab, they were just treating me right, man. Big famous names.
Let me tell you that back, and it is too. These guys are two different contrasting personalities, and even with their fighting background, everything. And we've had this thing of Brad Brad taking this serious. This was just recently because the downside to all them fights and all, he was taking his fun all the time.
Right.
He wasn't training much. He was taking all the amateur fights, started leading into the pro career too, because then he would take a fight next week. Somebody wants to fight at 185, 205, let's take it. And we had a talk, serious talk. And I told Brad, you're going to be just a club fighter? Or you want to do this serious? You know, you're pro now, so you're going to jump around and take a fight on last minute, a guy that's 20-something pounds heavier than you. On the other end, Dave takes this serious from an amateur. He was serious,
absolutely.
real serious. He even got bored. To me, as an amateur, he got bored. He was ready to go pro. But him on the other end, he started taking the pro as a joke. And this last time he called me up, said, boss, I'm serious. I'm ready to make a move. I want to make it to UFC. I want this to be my career.
Well, I'll tell you, that last RFC and that performance against Caesar, Joe, he did what he told you he was going to do. He took it serious.
Yeah, but he took everything serious. Back it up before that, the 2 months before, the first time in his life, he took the fight game serious. And you've seen first time he ever came in at 170, never came in at 170. You know, this kid fought at 205 before that.
Heavyweights too, I believe. Didn't he fought a heavyweight before as well?
So him on the other end, he's been serious since I met him.
Yep.
Dead serious. As an amateur, he was ready. I knew David was what he was going to do, come into the pro ranks, what he do. Brad, honestly, I wasn't sure. We had to talk, Brad, what do you want to do?
That's right. And, you know, and the cool thing about Dave, too, is Dave, it's kind of similar to you. If I remember, you were at a smaller school in the beginning of your amateur career, and then you moved up to a bigger school where you were fed a little bit more and your technique was given a little more. And, man, it is. You are serious about it. You're in there training every day. I fought on the same card as you before. I loved it. I loved fighting behind you. That was perfect. I think we went to Alabama, and I believe Dave was the only one out of the group that won and smashed. And so you could tell that Dave really takes it seriously. You can tell Brad has taken it seriously from his last fight. And, man, I'm really excited about this fight. I think it's going to be amazing. I see why you're calling it proven ground. I guess it's more like who's the real country boy, like you kind of said.
Who's more country? Who's
more country? But listen, these guys are going to prove it to you. It's going to be February. What's the date on that, Joe? That's the 27th, February 27th. Doubletree here in Tampa. These two are going to be putting down. Brad, is there anything big coming up for you? I mean, you're looking to? You said you're going to go out back to these other camps out in Phoenix during this. Anything else you're going to do different in this camp?
No, just stay eating right. I've never eaten right before. I just would walk around and eat, and then try to kill myself at the last minute. This last fight and this fight, you know, since I go to 170, it's no joke. You know, it's no joke to get to 170, walk around at 200 pounds, and you want to fight at 170. You know, you think it's okay, but once you step into the big game, you know, it's not okay. Like these guys here, like take it seriously. That's how I take it now, and my body is just so used to it now. So, like this fight here, instead of waiting until the last 3 days of trying to kill myself, this time here I'll go back and doing like I did last fight. You know, I'll go back to 2 or 3, 4 or 5 weeks ahead of my time and start my diet again, and it makes me feel so much better. And it's a lot easier on my body too. I ain't trying to kill myself. So.
What are you coming down from for 170? Where do you go?
200 pounds.
200. Where are you going to come down from?
190.
Right.
So you boys definitely ain't having no McDonald's or sweet tea or anything like that during fight camp, huh?
No, I've been lately though. Now
I want to.
Well, both these it's ironic too. Both of these guys were almost just going to take a boxing match, like a week apart. They both had boxing fights coming up, which is rare for MMA guys.
Nice.
To me, MMA guys still, you go to gyms now, and there's still guys who don't even like to spar in the gym, just boxing. These guys are going to do a pro boxing fight each one.
That's awesome. You know, one thing I want to talk a little bit about is Dave's opponents who you've come up in the pros. You haven't fought any slouches in the pros. You fought, I think it was Jeremy Cook first. Then you fought the Alabama guy. I don't remember. I just remember you smashing him. Jay Marrero, and now you're going to Brad Taylor. At one time, you were offered to fight Cesar Hizzo, and I think it didn't happen or anything. And now Brad stepped up and fight Hizzo. What was the deal with that matchmaker? I don't know what happened.
Well, David wanted to fight. He has another coach. Thought he wasn't ready. He wanted to take a little more time for somebody like Rizzo. You know, Rizzo's goddamn.
So it wasn't an injury or anything.
No, it wasn't an injury, and it wasn't David. David actually told me he wants to fight. Go ahead and make it. He had another coach. You know, things come up. It wasn't Dave. They wanted to fight, and this cat here is always calling me. Who do you got? Give them to me. I'll take them. But that's when we had that serious talk.
Right.
It wasn't, I had to see something different from him. And because a lot of people thought that Rizzo was tough for Dave and tough for Brad. I had a lot of people told me that I overmatched Brad.
I was one of them. I was one of them. Sorry, Brad. I really was. I didn't know about the serious talk. And after hearing what he said and seeing your performance again, I believe what you said, and hopefully you're going to bring the same intensity to this fight in February, and these guys are going to look good. Dave, what's going on? Are you in camp yet for your fight, or are you still chilling for Christmas?
No, I'm in camp year round, man. I just love to train, love to push my body all the time, so I'm always constantly doing something. And back on that other fight, the reason why I am where I am today is because I have a good set of coaches behind me, guiding me in the right direction. There was a few problems with that fight. Whatever happened, but just watching, man, I was kicking myself in the ass because I just wasn't impressed at all. And but that's how you got to stay safe. You got to make sure that you're ready for the competition you're going to head. You can't just jump in there and ruin your record, and then, like you said, you're just going to be some bum. Right. Throwing any fight you can, and that's not where I want to be. This is also my career. This is what I'm gonna. One day get to the UFC or Bellator, and I'm going to prolong myself in this. So just staying safe and taking smart fights.
Absolutely.
What do you think about Brad's performance that night? With him standing up with a guy who was a professional kickboxer and boxer, which I think the main thing that surprised me was the Cuban.
They both
trying
went right
to take
to the
him
floor.
down.
They both went right down, which surprised me a lot too. Because that was the thing about that guy was he had over 300 professional fights, or so we were told. I didn't see it, but either way, he went right to the ground as well, and it's just one of those things. Like, we didn't really get a chance to see what both of them have to offer, but where I'm at in my game, I feel that I'm superior everywhere I need to be. I got my wrestling. I have a great jiu-jitsu coach. I have a great striking coach who fights in Bellator. My camp is here at home, and I feel good with the people and my teammates behind me. I train every day. We spar hard every day. We're always getting our work in every time we need to.
I feel like that's a little bit of an advantage as well, being that Dave has a good team with great coaches and a lot of very high-quality sparring partners through the Gracie camp in the local area. And Brad has to travel a little bit, but he gets the experience to be able to go with some experienced different guys as well.
There's two ways to look at that, different guys. I'm a sole believer you cannot keep sparring with the same guys all year long. I don't believe in that. It might work for some, but I think the different looks help out.
Absolutely.
But,
you always have to have different looks.
Yeah.
That's another thing too is if you train with the same people all the time, you're going to take care of them, and then you're going to learn bad habits. So we get our outside sparring as well, but that's set up and at times, and again, just taking.
The thing, going back to that Rizzo fight, the thing that surprised me was and Rizzo's experience standing up, and I don't know why. I still haven't got an answer why he tried taking you down, but you were actually you were kickboxing him. You were out.
He surprised me taking
Yeah, but
him
you
down.
were kicking him. I'm not sure. I hear some of the fighters told me they thought that you hurt him to the body. That's might be why he shot to take you down. But I'm a little surprised that you were willing to stand up and fight him pretty on the outside, kicking with this guy.
I've been working on my boxing like 100%. Whenever you don't spar that much, you don't. I spar a lot. Like, I train with guys at home, but I don't get to train with nobody that's good. I get to train with a bunch of old guys that come in. I'm a fighter, and all of a sudden the next day they're gone. They're all out there. I'm sure they're here too. But
they're everywhere.
They're everywhere. But every now and then I get really awesome guys. Like we get Jamie Harris. All them are all good guys. They come in, and I worked on nothing but boxing. And I'm not saying my hands were good before, but that was my main problem. He knows. He's coaching. Everybody knows. My main problem was my losses are from chokes. I don't lose from getting knocked out. I don't lose from getting. So that's my main goal. My main goal is, hey, okay, if I'm losing, I need to figure out my wrestling. I need to get my wrestling in. And so I wanted to I'm trying to get my boxing real crisp. I worked on nothing but wrestling. I don't know if y'all noticed the last couple of fights I've been taking guys down, and they're like, everybody's like, what the heck? I got tired of everybody taking me down, so I tried to take them down. They started working for me. So it just got into a habit. Now I've switched back, working on nothing but boxing, and and a lot of Muay Thai kicks and all that. So I didn't even think about it this last fight. I practiced it so much, repetition just came into me, and I did stuff I didn't even think I was going to do, and it worked out really well. When you think about doing something, that means you already thought about it, and I'm too late. Once you do it and it just happens, you're going to win first. So repetition's where it's at, and that's where I'm at trying right now. Is 100 miles an hour, repetition.
You know, I think it's pretty good, Joe, and it's kind of an honor. I think this is the first time that we've actually been able to have real talk with two opponents that are about to face each other. I know that we've had real talk with opponents after their fights with them, but this is one of the first ones we've had. We've had the two guys at the same time. So now we're lucking out, and we're able to kind of get the predictions from one another. Of course, we know who's going to say what, but I'll ask Dave first. You know, Dave, what's your predictions in February, man? I mean, you got 3 wins now. You're looking to get your 4th win. So what's going through your
Florida State title fight. This is a Florida State title fight.
I didn't know that. That's good. That's good. 170-pound Florida State title fight. Dave, that's huge. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, what are you doing different, or what are you doing the same as you always do?
Man, I look at every fight the same. You know, if you're going to train hard for just because it's a title belt, then you weren't training hard enough to begin with. You know, so to me, it makes no difference whether it was the RFC belt, Florida belt, any of them. I'm going to train as hard as I can all the time. It's just what I do. It's what I love to do. It's what I'm here for. So I mean, it doesn't make a bit of a difference to me.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to go in there. I'm going to take the first mistake he makes, and I'm going to take advantage of it.
Fair enough. Brad, same question for you. What are you doing different tomorrow when you wake up, and how are you going to finish this fight?
Definitely tomorrow's going to be no different. I'm going to get up and make my kids some breakfast, probably. That'll be the first thing I do. But everything else is going to be the same. Like he said, it's just all about training for that. You ain't going to just train for one fight. Like, every fight's the same. Like, we're professionals. Now, before, when you're amateur, you're going to go for a fight for a title, but you might train 100 miles an hour. When you're pro now, you got to train for every guy the same. You got to give it 100%. If you don't give it 100%, you're going to lose. That's the way it is. You don't give it 100% when you go into the gym. You're going to be nervous before your fight. You go in there and you're 100%. That means you train 100%. You gave 100%. You'll be good to go.
Let me ask you something. Did you see Dave's last fight here in the RFC?
Yes.
Jay Morrell.
I did versus
Jay Morrell?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
What do you think about that?
It was the same, probably about like mine. Like, I didn't get to watch a lot of it because I had a fight. I was actually, I don't know if I was before him or after him.
You're actually
I think one of his teammates.
Yeah.
Right, before, right?
Jay Bahiri's so Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if we fought after or before him. So I only got to see like the last bit around, and it was good. I just like me, we're there to get it. I don't want to sit and that's what I'm hoping too. Now that's what I'm saying back to where what happens. I don't want to sit and hug. We're not here to hug.
He's not that type.
And that's what I like.
That's what he always asks me for. Don't give me a guy who
like a Ladarius.
I don't want to. And if you take me down, beat me up, because then that make me want to get up. But if you take me down and hold me down, we're going to be there all day. But I just want to stand and fight. And if we go to the ground, that's fine. It's whatever. I'm going to work my way up, or we're going to get up, or we'll take each other down. That's how I predict it. But I just want a nasty grudge fight. I want to. I've been talking to my buddy. What's his name that won Fight of the Night?
Lon or
whichever one we're talking about, I told him we're going to beat him. So.
Abby, and
no, it was Luis and
Luis,
Alon got finishes in the night. So.
Yeah, Luis. So I told him we're going to be fighting for it. So that's what I want. I want a nice fight. I want an extra little bit of money because we're going to get Fight of the Night. That's what I want.
Absolutely, folks. February 27th, 2015, here in Tampa, Florida, Doubletree Hotel on West Shore. The RFC is coming. Proving ground. Brad, the Axman Taylor, Dave Mundel, the 170-pound Florida State title. The amazing matchmaker Joe Valdez does it again. You don't want to miss it. Again, February 27th. Come out and see it. This Real Talk has been sponsored by No Judges Needed, and we will see all of you February 27th.